is officially the offseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and there are a ton of questions to be asked and to be answered. Mike Tomlin has already answered some of them this week. First and foremost, Mike Tomlin has denied any reports of him thinking about retirement or stepping away or stepping down or any situation involving him no longer being head coach. He has denied that, and he will be the head coach for 2024, and there are plans for him to even get extended, according to Steelers owner Art Rooney II. You guys already know our feelings about Mike Tomlin. It's going to be the same old, same old. It's going to be the same song and dance next year for 2024. But however, if you guys want to give him any benefit of the doubt once again, he did confirm in his postseason press conferences, end of season press conference, two very important things that he is definitely going to have to nail this offseason, man. This is the biggest offseason in Mike Tomlin's history. It is a massive offseason for Mike Tomlin, and he's going to have to nail two things in particular. And those are the two things that he mentioned in his end of season interview, which was the OC and the quarterback situation.
Yeah, two positions that he, I guess you could say, fumbled, that he messed up on, especially the offensive coordinator position with the two in-house promotions, the two old quarterback coaches we used to have in Fichtner and Canada. We know they didn't pan out. We knew they were not really going to pan out. They were here too long than they were warranted, honestly.
Yeah, they overstayed their welcome.
And the quarterback position, Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky, considering that Tomlin thought that was good enough competition, it just didn't pan out. And it's not going to pan out for the time being.
No, but thankfully Mike Tomlin has finally acknowledged his errors and has acknowledged that there are massive gaps that need to be filled, man, and has set this team back a couple years because of his complacency at those two positions. Now it seems like he understands excuse my Tomlinism, the totality of the situation. Dare I say the magnitude of what he's going to have to do this offseason at OC and at quarterback. But first, we want to touch on the OC situation because first the OC, then will come the quarterback.
Yep.
So OC is going to be important, and there's already reports that they are reaching out to certain individuals for offensive coordinator interviews, which they should be doing ASAP, as there are already a ton of teams doing the same exact thing for some of the top targets. So the Steelers better get into that pond before it's too full. Otherwise, you're going to be left with the scraps like you always are. So they're going to have to jump into this thing immediately. So they're going to have some interesting names they're probably going to want to reach out to. And right here in this video, we're going to be talking about some of the more popular. Now, there are some names we will mention after the list that could be options, but these are some of the more ideal, some of the more better fits, and pretty much guys that fit what Tomlin mentioned in his end of season interview. If you would read some of the comments that he mentioned, because these are some intriguing quotes that honestly is what all of us have been asking for, which is an exterior out of the organization, outside hire, someone with experience.
Yeah, let me just get into what Tomlin stated about the offense coordinator position with his end of season press conference. He stated that the Steelers will be looking outside the organization for outside candidates for the offensive coordinator position. Tomlin did state that he is appreciative of Eddie Faulkner and Mike Sullivan's efforts and contributions to be an interim OCs when Matt Canada was thankfully fired. But he does not view them as candidates to be the next Steelers offense coordinator at this juncture.
And that was our biggest fear, is that he would continue with in-house promotions, because that's all he's done.
It's been a Mike Tomlin stable as long as a matter of fact, since Todd Haley's been fired.
Well,
since Todd Haley left.
I didn't even go before that. It's been a Tomlin thing since 2015. When Dick LeBeau left, he promoted Keith Butler.
Yeah.
And then Todd Haley left after 2017. And ever since then...
So, yeah, you're right. Even beforehand,
we've just been left with in-house promotions.
Going on
Matt Canada,
8 years with this stuff. 8 years of the same garbage.
It's tiring. It is stale. So thank God Tomlin finally acknowledged, hey, this cannot be the go anymore. We can't be sticking with these buddies. We got to go out and get someone with knowledge and experience and someone that could actually do something for this organization rather than give it to guys that have no experience.
Exactly. So when he was asked about deciding to look outside the organization this time around to fill OC rather than promoting from within like he usually would, Tomlin just stated that he just feels like it's an appropriate time to do so.
And now he says that.
Yeah.
Better late than never, right?
I mean, live and learn. You know, you got to learn from your failures. You got to learn from your experiences. You know, I mean, he should already have been learned, but like you said, better late than never. You know, at least he's acknowledging that, hey, he messed up.
Right.
He fumbled the position. So, continuing on, Tomlin was also asked if he preferred that the new OC, whoever that may be, has prior NFL coordinator experience rather than the last two hires we once had. He just simply stated yes.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't exactly mean that whoever they put at OC, whoever they hire for OC, will have experience. That's totally going to be what they favor to, but that's not always going to mean that our next OC will be someone that has had experience. Because there are a couple guys out there where they haven't played the OC position, but they have definitely played a pivotal part in some of the NFL's more intriguing offense and some of the more young rising players for sure. And those are some of the names we're going to get into. The first one is going to be obviously Clint Kubiak, who's probably at everyone's top of the list for guys that the Steelers should bring in to interview or even hire as OC. Clint Kubiak is just a familiar name, as you guys know. The son of Gary Kubiak. He has just a lot of experience as an offensive coach. He's been under Shanahan's coaching tree recently, and I feel like that's where the Steelers are going to really target their next OC as guys under those type of schemes and systems.
As they should, you know, that seems to be the way the NFL and the offensive plays are nowadays. How explosive they are. It's from the Shanahan, it's from the McVay type of coaching tree.
I mean, you look at the NFL coaches around the league. You look at McVay, you look at Shanahan, you look at Matt LaFleur, you look at Mike McDaniel, you look at the Vikings coach
Kevin O'Connell.
Right. I mean, you look at Zach Taylor. I mean, there's probably so many others that I'm forgetting right now, but D'Amico Ryan as a defensive guy, right? I mean, there's so many guys under those coaching trees. That's where the Steelers should target. And some of those names we have in this list, most of them are involved somehow, some way along that type of tree, which is a good thing. That's where the Steelers should target. First name is obviously going to be Clint Kubiak. Previously, the Vikings offensive coordinator in 2021. So he does have OC experience, and he led them to the 12th highest ranked offense, led, of course, by Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson. And for those that want Kirk Cousins as the Steelers offensive quarterback next year, maybe the signing or the hiring of Clint Kubiak could bring a little flame to that fire, dare I say.
Maybe some intrigueness from Kirk Cousins' side of things to potentially take a look at the Steelers situation.
Perhaps, because, again, with the coordinator comes the next quarterback or some quarterback competition. So, I mean, that's interesting to note. I will add that. But, yes, he was the OC with the Vikings in 2021, and ever since then he's been passing game coordinators for the Broncos and, of course, more recently with the San Francisco 49ers, helping out that explosive passing offense with Brock Purdy under Kyle Shanahan's coaching tree and under Kyle Shanahan's mind and his knowledge. That's always great to note. He's such a young coach. He's an up-and-rising offensive guy in the league. He should be at the top of everyone's OC list. I mean, I'm hearing he's already getting offers from the Bears and teams like that.
Yeah.
So the Steelers better get in that Clint Kubiak poll right there before it's a little too late, because he's someone they should definitely bring in for sure. Another name we'll add that is under Shanahan's coaching tree and the 49ers coaching staff. He doesn't have OC experience. In fact, he doesn't have a lot of coaching experience, but he has been the 49ers quarterback coach since 2022. For the last 2 years, he has been helping develop and coach Brock Purdy, who's one of the NFL's rising stars and definitely already the best quarterback coming out of the 2022 NFL draft class. Let me just say that.
Yeah, no one can deny that anymore.
That name is Brian Greasy.
Yep.
Again, not a ton of coaching experience, but a lot of knowledge as he was a former player in the NFL. You've seen what he's doing with developing Brock Purdy, who was Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, that says a lot. That really says a lot. And they're going to keep Kenny Pickett next year. Like it or not, I don't. But they're going to keep Kenny Pickett next year.
Well, Tomlin did state, I should note this, Tomlin did state that As of right now, Kenny has resumed his status as quarterback 1.
But obviously, he's going to bring in competition, which they're going to have to
Yeah,
do.
I was going to say that till you took it out of my mouth.
Right,
But
well.
no, go on.
Now, I was just going to say, I mean, you see what he did with Brock Purdy. Imagine what he could do with a guy like Kenny Pickett.
I mean, if there's any hope for Kenny Pickett, if he were to have the right quarterback coach to aid him, to help him with that, because
Well, there's a lot of people that still believe in Kenny Pickett.
and some people still make the argument that if he has the proper coach and coordinator, Kenny could revive his career. He could finally unleash the potential that some people may still think he has.
You guys know our opinion on Kenny Pickett. There's just not enough that we saw in year 2 to think that he is the future. He did not take any jump in him as a quarterback, as a passer in the NFL, as an NFL quarterback. Just not enough that you saw. Not much at all. You can't judge it off of just one game without Matt Canada.
No.
But I will say, yes, the quarterback position does take time. So perhaps a guy like Brian Griese would help out Kenny Pickett's development as you see what he's done with Brock Purdy in that offense. Anyone from Shanahan's coaching tree would definitely be a must-add for the Steelers' coaching staff, whether that is a quarterback coach, a passing game coordinator, or obviously the OC.
Yeah.
Shane Waldron is probably another one that's going to be at the top of everyone's list, man, and probably one of the more likely because Pete Carroll is out of Seattle, and with him being out of Seattle, so will be Shane Waldron. But I mean, this is also a guy that, like the Shanahan coaching tree, he was under the Sean McVay coaching tree from 2017 to 2020 as a tight end coach, quarterback coach, and most notably the pass game coordinator, which is very good to note. And that's what gave him the job for the last, 2-3 years as the Seahawks offensive coordinator. And you see what he's done with the rebirth of Geno Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, he's under the McVay coaching tree. He has a lot of knowledge from that. He has years as an offensive coordinator. I mean, that's what Tomlin's looking for. I mean, it looks like to me like he could be one of those guys they're definitely going to target because, again, man, Carroll's out of there. So probably will he, and he's going to be a guy that's going to be getting offers.
Yeah, a lot of people of that Seattle staff overall may not stick around with Carroll stepping down, stepping away as a Seattle head coach. So, yeah, a guy like Shane Waldron could absolutely, go out there and explore offers. Hopefully one could be coming from the Steelers. Again, prior OC experience, the way he was able to help out Geno's revival in his NFL career.
Right.
And that whole Seattle offense with that type of talent, the receivers and running backs he got, bringing him into the Steelers to help with, whoever the quarterback may be. It could be Kenny, could be whoever else, and just helping out Najee, Warren, Pickens. You guys already know.
Right.
So bringing him in, I mean.
But seeing what he did with Geno Smith and how everyone kind of wrote him off and everyone didn't really see any value in Geno Smith, that says a lot about Walden as a coordinator and as a coach.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about Geno Smith as well. But I also like to think, like, if they look at Shane Waldron as a realistic option, and I do think he is a very realistic option because, I mean, he checks all the boxes for Mike Tomlin and what he wants. So he's probably a very more realistic, more likely option if I got to be honest with you guys right there. The next one is going to be Darrell Bevell. Now, you talk about experience. You look no further than this guy. He has 4 separate stints as offensive coordinator in the NFL. Now, that might be a little worrisome to you because he has 4 separate stints, but that also shows to me that is the experience that Mike Tomlin is talking about. And every single stint he's had, it's been pretty solid. I mean, his first 2 offensive coordinator jobs were pretty decent long stints. I mean, with the Vikings from 2006 to 2010. After that, immediately was with the Seahawks from 2011 to 2017. And then with the Lions from 2019 to 2020. And more recently with the Jaguars in 2021. So he has a lot of offensive coordinator experience. And with that being said, he has played with a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL. But more recently with Tua in Miami, as he has been the quarterback coach, pass game coordinator for the past couple of years with Miami ever since Mike McDaniel was hired. And he was previously under the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree.
Yep.
So I will add that. Maybe he can soak up some of that Shanahan, that McDaniel knowledge from Miami. And you see what he's been doing. He's been a pivotal part in helping that passing offense with Tua, who's been another rising star. You see what he's doing with the targets he's got over there and just the amount of weapons that probably one of the more hottest offenses has to offer. So that's going to be another name right there, man. You look at pretty much everything Tomlin wants from the quarterback coach situation, the pass game coordinator situation, the offensive coordinator spot. Like, this guy has done it all. He's done it all. He's been around the league. He's played with a lot of quarterbacks. He has a ton of experience at one of the more important positions at what Tomlin is looking for right now. He probably checks all the boxes out of all the names, honestly.
Yeah.
And there's a few on our list that check the boxes, but him most likely. Next guy, someone that's gonna be very familiar, and I think this guy could be a minority option, a minority interview, as that's going to be a requirement in the NFL nowadays. And he was one of the minority interviews that they did in 2021. His name is Pep Hamilton.
Yeah, if that name rings a bell. We did bring him in as a minority interview, 2021?
Yes.
When Fichtner left, when his contract pretty much expired, he was a requirement for a minority interview, but instead of going with Pep, we went with Matt.
Yes. I don't know how you interview Pep Hamilton and you still go with Matt Canada. What an absolute blunder. It's just stupid. It's very, very
And
silly.
this is the Steelers and Mike Tomlin's second chance at acquiring this guy and getting him with this unit.
Because they interviewed him a couple years ago for the job as a minority hire. I'm pretty sure they're going to do it again. But this is a guy that's been around the league a long time as well and has helped develop some of the younger quarterbacks in his time with certain teams. I mean, he also has OC experience. He has a couple stinks as OC, as a matter of fact, with the Colts during Andrew Luck's early years in Indianapolis, and I think most recently with the Texans, where he had Davis Smith in 2022. And before that, I think he was the quarterback coach in 2020 with the Chargers, which was Justin Herbert's rookie year, where he won Rookie of the Year.
It's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive.
And it is. And he's played, he's had the quarterback coach job for a lot of teams, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
He's been around the league and has played that position multiple times, serving for multiple teams. So he has the experience. He's been around the league. And even if they don't look at him as a potential OC candidate, they could definitely bring him in as a quarterback coach candidate.
Yeah.
100%.
If they were to make some changes to the overall offensive coaching staff, because it's very well possible that Sullivan doesn't stick around. Mike Sullivan, our quarterback coach. It's possible that if we want to change it up a little bit, change up this offensive staff, bringing in a guy like Pep Hamilton, I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's a no-brainer.
I would definitely bring in Pep
As a matter of fact,
Hamilton.
I wouldn't even hesitate.
No.
I'd bring that guy in ASAP.
Like, I'd interview Pep Hamilton, and if they don't view him as a viable offensive coordinator option, then you could easily insert him in as the quarterback coach. Help him develop Kenny and whoever the heck they might bring in at quarterback, whether that's in free agency, potentially through the draft, which is looking a little possible. Don't know when, but sometime they might draft a quarterback, and in many cases, it's probably the right thing to do. So Pep Hamilton should definitely be someone on the Steelers' radar for either OC or more probably the quarterback coach spot. I mean, it's just you're looking for upgrades. You're looking for a better coaching staff, and you're looking for someone to help develop the entire offensive scheme, the entire quarterback situation. It's very important. Pep Hamilton has all the experience, all the tools, and all the all the success from many coaching staffs, many teams, and many quarterbacks he's helped coach up for years.
Yeah, and I would honestly say the necessary attributes to what I'm sure the Steelers are looking for.
Yes.
Or what Tomlin specifically is looking for.
Yes, exactly. Because Tomlin is really pointing out the experience factor, but I also think he's trying to point in guys where are going to help develop Kenny Pickett, because he's not going to give up on him.
No.
So they got to bring in someone to really help develop the quarterback, Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
And I mean the quarterback, Kenny Pickett. Like, that goes a long way. That will really go a long way. Kenny could still be a serviceable starter. It's not going to make the Steelers a great threat, but if they want to view him as a serviceable starter, you got to bring in someone well enough to help develop the guy, as well as an offensive coordinator to help scheme him and scheme the weapons around him. So that's what we're looking for. And a guy that could definitely do that, and is probably one of the more popular options, or one of the more noticeable and recognizable options, is Eric Bieniemy. I don't know what his future holds in Washington. Ron Rivera was fired. I know he is the assistant head coach, and there's no easier solution for the Commanders than to just promote him as the head coach. He has been waiting for a head coaching spot for years now and has not gotten it for one reason or another. But I think the Steelers should still absolutely ask for permission to interview him. Why wouldn't they? I feel like they
At the very least.
I feel like they should have done it last year. If they knew, because Eric Bieniemy left the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid after a Super Bowl title to lateral for the Commanders.
Yeah.
Now, yes, they paid him a lot to not only play the offensive coordinator position, but also the assistant head coach position. But we thought to ourselves, why didn't the Steelers do that? Their assistant head coach retired. We all knew Matt Canada wasn't going to be an upgrade or wasn't going to improve anything. So why didn't they bring in Bieniemy last year? Well, like you mentioned with Pep Hamilton and many of these guys, Eric Bieniemy, this is possibly their second chance to do the exact same thing.
Absolutely. Last year, whatever hope they had for Canada, obviously it didn't work out. And another reason is because the Steelers historically don't really pay high or big money for coordinators.
And that's the problem.
That is a problem. I feel like this time around, I feel like it would be worth the price. It would be worth the investment because Bieniemy, even when he was with the Commanders with Sam Howell and when Jacoby Brissett stepped in when Howell was benched and he didn't play well toward the tail end of the season, the Commanders were still putting up points and getting yardage out there.
It felt like with a guy like Brissett, it seemed like there was a little life in the Commanders' offense, and some of that has to do with Bieniemy. He just knows how to scheme up weapons. He knows how to scheme up a passing offense, which is what we need. We need that. Seriously. Bieniemy would be a hell of an option. The Steelers should definitely have him on their radar as someone they should still ask for permission. They should. We don't know what his future holds in Washington, but it shouldn't shy the Steelers away from at least giving the guy the option or giving the guy an interview.
Yeah.
Bieniemy would be a great fill-in at offensive coordinator. And I think Mike Tomlin would definitely want to add him to his coaching staff. He's someone that could also be a minority interview because it's a requirement, and that would be one hell of a one. And if you interview him, how do you not make him your offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Just makes no sense. But I think Mike Tomlin will love him in his coaching staff because of his experience, because of his knowledge and what he's done for the Chiefs, what he did with the Commanders, what he had to endure last year. I mean, and I think it would help drive Eric Bieniemy into potentially being a head coaching candidate down the road. I mean, look what he did with Brian Flores.
Yeah.
He brought him back in during the whole controversy. Now he's the DC for the Vikings. He could be a head coaching option in a year or so. I mean, he could very well want to do the same thing for an Eric Bieniemy. I mean, Eric Bieniemy doesn't need the assistance of Mike Tomlin to be a head coach, but I'm sure Mike Tomlin would love to have him on his coaching staff.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? I mean, wherever the guys went and the players that he's coached, I mean, it's just nothing but high praise and props toward Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah.
Like, the guy knows how to scheme the players up. He knows how to get them to succeed, to be the best that they can be on that football field.
Right.
And that's exactly what Tomlin is kind of looking for, because he also stated on, where they need to involve as an offense entirely. Tomlin stated, I want us to be versatile and dynamic. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to keep defenses unbalanced and utilize all the talent we have at our disposal.
Yeah.
So a guy like Eric Bieniemy, I mean,
that's someone that can use all your weapons.
Yeah, he fits all the tools right there and then.
I mean, you look at a guy like Pat Frymuth that was incredibly underutilized this year. It's criminal. Second-round pick, and he had barely over 300 yards. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's absolutely despicable. What a waste of draft capital, and what a waste of not using your talent. It's super underutilized. In fact, we say that about a lot of these weapons. Calvin Austin is the same way. How do you not utilize his speed a lot?
Before George Pickens broke out when Mason Rudolph stepped in, how many times have we said, how are you not utilizing George Pickens to the best of his ability?
Exactly.
Deontay Johnson's an arguable candidate at that realm too,
Yes.
So it's like acquiring a guy like Eric Bieniemy, who has made a resume of getting talent involved, even unknown talent at that, getting them involved and, making them stud players out for any type of offense, no matter who the quarterback is.
Right.
Like, he just knows how to get these guys to ball out.
Yes.
He knows how to get these guys in situations to succeed.
And I feel like
that's what we are trying to look for.
And I feel like that's what all the guys that we've listed could potentially offer.
Yeah, not just Bieniemy, but
offense.
everybody that you listed down, absolutely.
Yeah, like we said, and we'll go down the list again. Clint Kubiak, Brian Griese, Shane Walden, Daryl Bevell, Pep Hamilton, and Eric Bieniemy. Now, again, Brian Griese is the only one on our list that doesn't have OC experience, but you see what he's done with a guy like Brock Purdy. I think it's still a viable option for the Steelers. But all the guys we mentioned have OC experience one way or another. And some of them are under one of the more successful coaching trees and modern offenses around the league. And that's where the Steelers got to pinpoint. Now, anyone that they hire outside the organization is a plus. I'll just say that right now because we haven't done that in years.
No, we haven't done it since Todd Haley.
But at the same time, we need to nail the OC position this year. We have to. It is very important. It's incredibly crucial to the season.
Yeah.
It's crucial to Mike Tomlin, as a matter of fact. He has to nail OC this year. He said he's excited about all the options and viewing all the options and interviewing these guys and seeing what they could bring and what their visions are for their offense and what they could bring to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Absolutely.
And that's an exciting part of this entire process for the entire Steelers organization. Tomlin, Khan, and of course Rooney II.
Yep.
They're all going to be part of the OC hire, the OC interviews, and I hope they nail with one of these guys. Now, I want to throw out some honorable mentions as well. Is, of course, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yes, the USC assistant currently, former Cardinals head coach. I did read that he is interviewing for the Bears' vacant offensive coordinator position, so teams are definitely looking to reach out to him and get him in at least for an interview.
Right.
I'm sure Cliff would like to get his feet back into the NFL pool, trying to get back into the league, because him as a head coach didn't really pan out. But as a coordinator, it could absolutely help him big time. And I feel like he's a much better coordinator than a head coach.
Oh, easily. I'll throw another one out there. Now, again, the reason why I throw in honorable mentions is because these are guys they could look at because of their experience factor. But the reason why I don't have them on the list that we mentioned is because I feel like the names on the list are a little more the exciting, more favorable options, one of the more proper fits for what we are looking for in our offense, what the Steelers are looking for in their offense. But I will mention, just throw the names out there, Cliff Kingsbury, Byron Leftwich. We all know his experience and his, relationship with Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore.
He was a former Cowboys OC, but then he went to the Chargers for that same position.
Right.
So with the firing of Brandon Staley, he could be out there if Steelers want to look into him.
Right. I mean, again, these are just honorable mentions. Those are some options I'm not that very much fond of. Byron Leftwich, I was, but then I look at all the options now, and I'm just thinking these guys are a lot better viable options for the Steelers that I would pick before I even look towards a Kingsbury or a Moore or a Leftwich or whoever else you guys want to throw out there. I'm just thinking more of what the Steelers need and the better fits and the, what has succeeded around the NFL and how that can be brought to the Pittsburgh Steelers with this offense and with the fact that they're going to keep going with Kenny Pickett for now. So these are the guys that are going to that could be brought in, that could be the OC hire, and will definitely add something to the Steelers offense that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
So that's what we're hoping for. If there's any other names you guys want to throw out there, let us know in the comments below. Love to hear any of you guys' suggestions. Maybe there's a couple names we're not even thinking about that we can do some extra research on. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions and your guys' options, man. Please put them in the comments below. Otherwise, let us know what you guys thinking down in the comments below. But, hey, Mike Tomlin is going with an outside OC. He has confirmed that, and thank God. It's about time. I'm glad to acknowledge it. Now it's time for him to do the interviews and nail at the OC position. I'm excited to see who they bring in and who they are actually going to hire and what they could bring to this offense.
Yep.
And what that OC could bring to potentially the quarterback situation. It's going to be very interesting. Let us know your guys' thoughts and your options down below. See you in the next one.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace!